Torah Life Ministries come out of the world.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson from Torah Life Ministries, and I wanted to talk today about a common topic, and that is head coverings. Women covering their head. And one of the things I hear all the time when I bring up this topic is, well, some women say they feel they need to cover their head because it's a command, and other women say, well, I don't need to cover my head because my hair is my covering. I think from a modesty standpoint and the scriptural standpoint, a woman should have a head covered, but that's my opinion. There are many places in the Torah that will lead to the beliefs or the understanding that women of modesty and spiritual women did cover their head. But there's no command in Torah that says a woman must cover her head. I think we have to read between the lines here and see the big picture. And if you're a woman that's convicted about this, then go ahead and do it. Now, if you're not convicted about it, then don't do it. However, please stop mixing up scriptures and using the excuse that says your hair is your covering. Because Paul's words, right in the own scripts himself, do not say the hair is the covering. Again, I personally think a woman is absolutely gorgeous with a head covering in a spiritual sense. I think it takes a very special, strong, convicted woman to cover her head. That doesn't mean if a woman doesn't cover her head, she's not any of those things. But there's many blessings that come along with covering the head. Blessings that the person covering the head will receive, and blessings that people around them will receive by respecting and acknowledging that this person is doing something special. Now, those of you that say or believe your hair is your covering, if that's the case, explain to me this. In Corinthians 11:5, it says, "But a woman dishonors her head if she prays or prophesies without covering her head. For this is the same thing as shaving her head. Yes, if she refuses to wear a head covering, she should cut off all her hair. But since it is shameful for a woman to have a hair cut or a head shaved, she should wear a covering." Now answer this. If your hair is your covering, here it is saying, if you're not wearing a covering, to shave your head. So if you're wearing a covering, if your hair was the covering, as some women claim it is, well then they would have to shave their head. So how could you wear a covering if your head is shaved? Do you understand this? Let me explain again. It says, if she refuses to wear a head covering, and they're not talking about the hair, they're talking about an extra covering on top of the head, she should cut off all her hair. Now, if she already has her hair as a covering, why would he say she should cut off all her hair? You cannot be with just your hair and expect that to be considered a covering according to Paul's words. It goes on to say it is shameful for a woman to have her hair cut or her head shaved, so she should wear a covering. Now, I know this might be confusing to some of you, and again, it's not directly a salvation issue. If you accept Yeshua as your Messiah, and your heart desires to do the things He wants you to do, and if you believe covering your head is one of those things, wonderful. But it can be a salvation issue when you have to think, okay, He's going to put His Spirit on me, and He's going to tell me how I should appear. And if the hair is my beauty and my joy and my pride, I want to reserve that for my husband and not the world. I want that to be special for him and not everyone else in the world. Now, I understand, this is a woman issue, and again, a woman has to be convicted of this. I'm a man and I have man issues. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, good or bad. I'm just saying what Scripture is relating these things to. Now, I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of emails from women that cover their head saying, great video, I agree with you, and wonderful. And I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of emails from women who are not covering their head, kind of giving me more a negative tone. I just say that there's something special about covering the head, ladies. And I'm doing a lot of research from several rabbis that are getting into the science of what the Torah says and confirming these things with science. And they're showing when a woman actually covers her head, her aura, her electromagnetic field is much more powerful and much more stronger than if our head is not covered. There are other cultures and religions out there in the world, for one Pacific, the Sikh culture, who have done studies on the hair, and the hair is very vital to our body, and when you cut the hair anywhere in the body, but even the head, you're taking away the energy of the body. And so the Torah, the Talmud, and even Paul here in the New Covenant are all agreeing, and it points to in Scripture that it is righteous for a woman to wear a head covering. At Torah Life Ministries, we focus on the health and the modesty aspects of the Scriptures. From a health standpoint, cutting the hair is never a good thing, and wearing the head covering now is proving that it helps maintain the electromagnetic unseen energy fields of the body. And this isn't a New Age thing. It's been proven. Now, if you cover your head with linen, or 100% cotton, or linen, or 100% wool, even more of the power to you, even better. From a modesty standpoint, this is one of the downfalls today of the vanity of women today, who will spend hours and hours and hours and all her money to fix up her hair so she can go out in the world and look beautiful. She wouldn't think of going out of the doorways until her hair was done a certain way in a certain style. Now, there are women out there that I know who will go outside and not care about the way their hair looks. They don't have to get a big fancy and go out and spend a lot of money. And it takes a special woman to realize, okay, I'm not convicted to wear a head covering, but I'm not going to make my hair a beauty object. Some of you ladies are out there, and I thank you for being like that. And for those of you that are convicted to wear a head covering and do, I so thank you, because it helps me so much and all men so much. But for those women out there that wear their hair and they idolize the hair by fixing it up so much and spend so much time on it and money on it, and they have to have it colored a certain way, and it has to look a certain way, and if one hair's out of place they get upset and so on. We all have to grow in His Word. We all have to grow, but this is a very dangerous trap. It's a very thing the enemy he's doing to believers today. When women walk around, they walk around in high heels and their hair has to be all out and all fixed up a fancy way. Let me just say this. You should be spending more time reading the Scriptures and praying than you should be working with your hair. And when I say working with your hair, whether it's doing your hair for the half hour in the morning, whether it's going to the beauty parlor to spend money on your hair, you should be spending more time in the Scriptures. That's what we should be doing. Now, thank you everyone out there for looking at my videos and the videos I have about head coverings. And this is a topic that many people haven't explored yet. Some people don't want to explore. But from Scripture here, if you disagree, post it below the video. How can your hair be your covering if it says wear a covering, and if you're not going to wear a covering, shave your hair? You tell me that. Post that below the video. And I have other great videos on this website that talk about this. I do know some women that have worn a head covering and they're getting certain looks by certain people because they think they might look like another type of culture or so on. And one woman came to me and she said, oh, well, everyone's looking at me and they're looking at me like I'm a Muslim or something and I don't want to wear this. Well, not all Muslim women, but Muslim women that cover their head and dress in a modest way, they're not living too far away from the Scripture the way it tells us to do things. Some people might say out there, well, they're just at the other end of the extreme. Well, I saw a video recently that showed the other end of the extreme where they showed all women in bikinis. And you can call it extreme, but I could tell you this. It is an abomination to walk around in a bikini, ladies, or walking around showing off your body. Now, if you want to take it to the extreme on the other end and cover up your body, it might look odd and it might not fit into society today, but it certainly wouldn't be an abomination to our wonderful Creator to cover up. So, you decide for yourselves, but there is something special about the hair. And this is something that our Creator has shown me, and I've heard very few people talk about this, but there's a certain energy that's given off by the hair, and there's a certain specialty to the hair. It's your glory, women. It's your glory, and reserve your glory and your beauty and your sexiness for your husband and not the world to see. You will be blessed. I just saw a wonderful video on the internet by a rabbi who was doing a lecture, and a lady got up and she said, how come I can't conceive a baby? How come I'm having issues with conceiving? And I see all these Arab women walking around and they have so many kids. And the rabbi told her, you cover your head and you will conceive. And it was the most amazing video. I don't know anyone who has seen this video that hasn't cried, but the lady covered her head, and 9 months later she had a baby. So she conceived right after she covered her head. Don't ask me, why he works the way he does, but he works in certain ways, and Scripture points us towards those ways. Ladies, you all have your decision, but we are called to live set apart in today's world. In today's world, when women are walking around idolizing their hair and spending so much time in their hair and having such a hard time letting go of the idea of covering their head or just walking around with their head uncovered, be different. Follow the Scriptures, follow the Word, and see what happens, and see how you're blessed. Until then, everybody, put your comments or questions below, and thanks for checking us out. Have a great day, and shalom, shalom.
Torah Life Ministries, come out of the world. Messiah people, seek the truth. Come out of the world, oh my people.